Dale Baruch Levi B here from the Defiant Spirit. Thanks for tuning in. I want to share with you just a few things you can find over at defiantspirit.org/podcast, where you can get all of my podcasts, or you can go to YouTube and find it over there. Defy Your Number, I believe it is, but you'll find your way there. The bottom line is I've been doing a series, and we're about two-thirds now of the way through on the Enneagram and movies, TV shows. It's taken from my program, Defy Your Number, which you can get on my website and find your Enneagram number and find get my program, which just walks you through. But I use a lot of pop culture because it brings to life these universal personalities, these energies. You know, the Enneagram means 9. So it's 9 basic energies. We think we're so original, we're so unique. And in some ways we are. I mean, everybody has a fingerprint. According to Kabbalah, everybody has a soul print that's uniquely your own. But the way, our flesh suit and the way we move through this world, that's not so unique. Your essence, as Viktor Frankl says, your nous, your spirit, absolutely unequivocally never was, is, or will be another you. But the way you go about it, the laws of physics, that stuff is finite. And there's really 9 basic patterns according to the Enneagram, one of which is your core type, your default. It's how you react, but it's not who you are. And so what I use the Enneagram for is to help teach people in a very practical way what their core type is, how they react, where they go when they're in fear, what they look like when they are unconscious, and then how to take back our power to, as Dr. Frankl says, stop reacting and choose your response. Excuse me. And so that's really what this is all about, choosing your response. Pause. All right, technical glitch. And so what I do is I help people find their voice, find their power, and speak it out into the world. One more time. Man, that's tough when you're coughing on a podcast. I'm glad I didn't cough into your ear. So what I do is I use the Enneagram, I use the movies and the TV shows that you're about to see in front of you to teach people. And what I've been doing is walking through each week a different number and some different slides. So this is a slide, obviously, from my program, Defy Your Number, for Enneagram 6. It's called the Loyalist. And these are some of the types that you'll see in the Defy Your Number program. And if you listen to the podcast, I'll walk through. But, you can see a wide range. On the Enneagram 6, the Loyalist, there's a wide range of characters from what's called phobic, or sort of a fearful 6. All human beings are fearful. 6s really just grapple with it. So on the one extreme, you have what's called phobic, and you can just feel their fear. So that's Larry David, that's George Costanza, that's Cliff Clavin, that's what's his name from Friends, Chandler Bing. There's an angst to them. There's a palpable phobia, fear. And so when you watch these TV shows, you can just really see a phobic 6 in action. That's an extreme, though. Then there's a whole gradation of sort of, gray. And then you get to the other extreme. And that's when you get to a character type that looks radically different. So whereas the phobic 6 goes into their fear, counterphobic 6 goes away from their fear. So they're still afraid. They're just presenting as if they're fearless. One more time. Hang on one sec. So you have, for instance, Mel Gibson. Now, Mel Gibson is an unhealthy human being. I mean, I just watched the man over the course of his career crumble into his anxieties and fears, and expressed as aggression, expressed as, vitriol, hates everybody, right? And definitely has had a few words about my people, the Jews. And so, but you can feel the angst or the fear. So that's why he's not an 8. 8s are the challenger, and they can have that same intensity, but from a 6 perspective, it's much more of a phobia, of a fear base, but they're running away from it. They're running against it. Or you can feel it in, in a little less sort of I don't know, aggressive way, like with the Fonz. Remember back in the day, there is this sort of underlying anxiety that the Fonz kind of has, and Henry Winkler certainly has. You listen to him. What's interesting is oftentimes people play their type in character form, not always, but quite often. So Tom Hanks has that angsty 6 thing, and oftentimes plays 6. But some other counterphobic sixes that really look more like tough guys, tough gals. Rip from Yellowstone. I'll end with him because I do a whole podcast on this. But Rip is definitely a counterphobic six. He is, I mean, he looks like an eight. He looks, pretty pissed off and intense. But the reason why I would say he's a counterphobic six is because underneath it, there's like a scared little boy. And you see that multiple times in the Yellowstone series. So, anyways, every week I've gone through each Enneagram type and shared with you, my beloved followers, each type as seen on the TV screen and the movies, and as a way for you to really kind of identify your core type. You can then study with me or anywhere that particular type to understand how it reacts, where you go when you're in reaction, and how you can choose to stop reacting, to stop living like a number. Nobody should be reduced to a number, and defy your number and live as a spirit. And so that's really how I and we use the Enneagram. It's the way it should be taught and used. You are never a number. Don't let anybody or anything reduce you in this lifetime. You are so much more than that. Jump over to Defy Your Spirit, to the Defiant Spirit, and the Defy Your Number program, and you can learn much more. DefiantSpirit.org. Until the next time, defy your number, live your spirit.